Welcome to the tip channel. That is perfection. Hello and welcome back to the tip channel. I struggled with myself a little bit as to whether to put this on YouTube or not. Those of you who watch my channel know that I'm a carpenter, I'm an electrician, I'm a cabinet builder, and yes, I even have a car detailing video on YouTube as well. And I do all of those things, always have. But I've decided to get into doing a fun project. Now, the unit that you're seeing behind me, what I know about this unit, I've only read in forums, so don't take it to gospel. If you got some better information, please leave it in the comments down below. But this unit is a Kubota K650. Now, from what I understand, whenever Kubota was new in the United States marketplace, what they did was to reach out to a manufacturer for their implements. So they would make the tractor over in Japan, but their implements would be bought from a manufacturer here in the US. So the manufacturer made sure that it worked with, at that time was their L series of tractor. They painted it Kubota orange, put the Kubota signature on it, and basically made sure that it did work with the Kubota tractor. Now, this particular unit is a K650. From what I understand, the K650 was late 70s. And then in the early 80s, they changed it from a K650 to an L650. Now, I assume they probably did that because they were putting it on their L series of tractor. I don't know. Again, I'm just guessing. But basically, the unit that you're seeing here is actually somewhere in the neighborhood of around 45 years old. So I decided to take on this project and do a restore on it. Now, the unit was working whenever I purchased it, so I didn't actually do a rebuild. What I did was a restore. And I wanted to share this with you to see some of the things, if you are looking at a unit like this, as to what you'll need to do to attach it to your Kubota tractor. Now, my Kubota is a B2620, so a little larger than the BX series, which is almost sort of like a lawnmower. Can get it with front end loaders and backhoes on it though. But this is the next step up. It's not an L, but it is a B. So I was looking for a unit that would be compatible with my size of tractor. Everything I was looking at was way too big. But this is actually the perfect size unit. Now, some of the problems that I ran into, first of all, was the roll bar. With the roll bar up, it was right up where my head was at, and I almost had to like crunch it over in order to work the backhoe. So the only thing I did there is I just simply dropped my roll bar down. Now I may look at something in the future where I can actually still keep that up. I do like the safety thing of a roll bar, but for now we've got it in the down position. The other thing was that the two seats conflicted with each other. And what I'm talking about with the seat down, this was actually hitting on the driver's seat. So I didn't like that. So what I did is, first of all, I went to the junkyard and I got a seat off of a lawnmower, which was a tilt up. This particular unit did not have a tilt up seat. So I got the tilt up device, and then what I did is I got a lift up rod out of a van. I believe it was a Ford, probably somewhere in the 90s. Anyways, I did a reverse, mounted it on the bottom of the seat, put a hole in the bottom of the plate, and now I can put the rod right down in there. It stops there so the two seats do not interfere. Naturally, when I'm using the backhoe, I tilt the tractor seat up and put the backhoe seat down. The other thing that I found was that mine did not come with a heavy-duty top link. Reading a lot of information, I found that you can't just use a standard top link on a 3-point backhoe. The reason being is you're putting a lot of force on that top link whenever you're digging and what have you. So a very good friend of mine made me a top link out of 1-inch thick steel. It's 1 inch by 3 inch. That thing isn't going anywhere. So we did make that modification as well. Now, the other thing is the step. Now, I couldn't find anything showing me where there was something else to take a step first before going up onto the step. Now, in my younger days, I could have went up there and just pulled myself up without a problem. I'm not that young anymore. So what I did is I made a plate. And this is just simply 2 pieces of 3-inch angle iron, 1/4 inch thick. I welded them together. Then I welded a piece of diamond plate on top of it. Now, this piece I put right on my 3-point. And that's where I was trying to get my toes in here to get up there. And that actually works fantastic. So I can go right up on to the 3-point now. That worked very, very well. Now, mechanically, I was pretty impressed for a 40-year-old piece of equipment, how nice this unit works, with one exception. And I read this a lot on the forums. A lot of people complained about the swing of the boom left to right. Now, I did a small video of this to show a friend of mine, and it really is sort of out of control. If you just barely touch the control, this thing goes crazy left to right, way too fast. And the way that the system works is that there's a hydraulic cylinder located right behind here, and it has 2 ports on it. And it moves this plate back and forth. As it does, what it does is it takes this chain around this sprocket and it swings the boom. Now, a lot of people complain about this chain breaking, and I can understand why. It's almost like when I was a kid, and we grew up in a coke oven patch town, so all we had was, a bunch of coke ovens, ash dumps, and what have you to play on. So we used to take and get a limb off of a trim, just a small twig, if you will, put crab apples on the end of it, and fling them at each other. And when you hit that at the end, that crab apple went selling. I know you're thinking that's nuts. Well, same exact thing here. When you got that arm swinging like this and it does that sudden stop, it's going to snap this chain in a heartbeat. So, again, reaching out to a couple of friends, they told me to put on what's referred to as a fluid restrictive valve. Now, this is made for hydraulics, and basically it has a 1/4 inch inlet on both sides, and then naturally has a dial where you can adjust it up and down for pressure. They told me to put one on each side of the cylinder, and I will be able to slow that down. So that's going to be one of the next things that I do, because as I mentioned, mechanically everything else functions nicely, but that is just way out of control on that boom swing. So I'm going to install those, and we'll take a look at that. One of the other things is storing this piece, and also how to mount it onto the tractor. Now, it's a big, heavy piece of equipment, and you've got to line the tractor up almost perfect. Right now, I've got what's referred to as turnbuckles. I am looking at changing those. They do have a unit that's very quick in regards to allowing your bottom 3-point to swing out and then come back in just by lifting up a pin and putting a pin back in. So I probably am going to look at purchasing that to speed things up. But when you got this heavy thing sitting on the ground, how do you get it lined up with the tractor? That's what we're going to show you next. All right, so what I did in regards to storing the unit is I have an exterior shed, has a concrete floor in it, and that's where I plan on keeping the 3-point. But anyways, what I did was to build a little dolly, used 4x4s for the main post. I got a set of heavy-duty casters on. They are lockable on the one side. If I want to keep it stationary, I can. What's going to be nice about this is whenever I go to mount it to the tractor, if I need to shift this unit left to right a little bit, twist it a little bit left to right, it's going to be real easy to do whenever it's sitting on a dolly. So this is just simply made to go right underneath of here. I'll let the unit right down on that, set the buckle on that piece of plywood, and there you go. Just that simple. Okay, at this point we're disconnected from the tractor, and I do have to say that was 1,000 times easier than the first time we hooked it up. But that rolling dolly gave us just enough play that it worked out extremely well. As you can see, I can move this around in my shed with ease. It's not going to be a problem. So I think that's going to be very, very convenient. So next up, we're going to go ahead and put these valves on. My new hydraulic lines and fittings came in for that. So we'll get that taken care of. I do have one other issue, well, two issues. Number one is coming up with something a little better than a bungee cord to hold up the pump once I disconnect. And the pump does have just a small drip. Now, nothing crazy, but I'm that crazy guy that hates strips. So I will probably address that. That is about a $1,200 item from Mesrix. I don't think I'll do that, but I did see an open box for about $150. So it might be worthwhile to snatch up on that. But at this point, we're disconnected from the tractor. That went very, very smoothly, and I don't know what else to say. At this point, we've addressed the issue with the roll bar, mostly. Took care of the problem that we had with the seats interfering with each other. We ordered in and put on a new pump, a couple new lines. Took care of some linkages that needed to be addressed. We gave it a coat of paint, put some warning labels on it, had the bucket welded. We made a dolly for it, and we also made a step piece to get up onto the unit a little easier. So I think at this point, we're pretty much done. Hey, hold on there, mister. You got to get it dirty. Okay, well, I guess stay tuned for some future videos of it digging. How did this turn out? It's the tip channel. That is perfection. I hope that you found this informative, and if you did, please like and subscribe, and have a great day.